When I think of Advent and freedom, my mind goes to the Advent season of 1862. See, earlier that year, President Lincoln had signaled that he would issue the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st of 1863. And so my ancestors would have known that the liberation that they had hoped for and prayed for was somewhere around the corner. And the thing that we often get wrong is that we think that the Emancipation Proclamation came and everyone was just free, but actually it only applied to people in states where they were against the Union. So if you lived in a state that was with the Union, then you weren't actually free. And if you lived in a state that was against the Union, then you can imagine your slave owner wasn't going to follow the rules of President Lincoln. And so ultimately, for most slaves, the Emancipation Proclamation didn't actually signal an immediate change in their status as slaves. But it did send a signal that liberation was around the corner. And so that Advent of 1862 was really a time of expectation, a time of hope, a time where people saw a glimmer of what was possible in the future. As a minister, I see often that there are so many people that are struggling. So many people in our city that don't know exactly how they're going to keep a roof over their head. There are many people in the world who are living on just $1 a day, unsure where their next meal is going to come from. There are folks living in war-torn areas where they're just not sure that there's ever going to be a freedom from violence. But in this season, we remember that Jesus came as a little baby. He wasn't a great warrior. He couldn't do anything as an infant necessarily. But he signaled a down payment on a future freedom. And just that glimmer of hope meant something to shepherds, to wise men, and maybe to all of those who were living under the harsh conditions of the Roman Empire. And so this Advent, I am not looking for freedom that's coming tomorrow. I'm not looking for a miracle or a quick fix. What I am doing is living in expectation that ultimately freedom is around the corner, and not just freedom for me, but freedom for so many people. People who are undocumented and have no idea what will happen to them. People who are Muslim, who came here with a sense of love for this country and are not sure if our country loves them back. There are so many people who are locked up. Sometimes just because they were struggling with addiction. There are so many places where we need freedom to be possible. And so in this Advent season, I live in expectation. Just like my ancestors thought about freedom not just for themselves, but for me. I think about not just for myself, but for future generations. And I hope that I can be part of God's plan to allow freedom to move throughout the world, to reach people in every part of the globe. That is my hope, and that is my expectation.